So the orange number 3 vehicle in your booklet, this is the Universal Carrier, the number 2 Mark II. Alors dans votre livret, c'est le véhicule orange numéro 3, c'est le Universal Carrier, un transport blindé.
So this may not be so familiar to you, but this is actually the most produced craft vehicle of the Second World War. Over 100,000 of these produced, and around 30,000 of those were actually made right here in Ontario, in Windsor. C'est vraiment le véhicule premier de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale. Le plus produit, à peu près 100 000 ont été faits, et près de 30 000 ont été faits en Ontario à Windsor.
So, in detail, you might be able to see the rifle after this. This is the Lee Enfield number 4, the classic infantry weapon for the British and the Canadians in the Second World War. Et vraiment, ces véhicules-là ont été utilisés pour à peu près tout, comme l'implique le nom. Ça a été utilisé comme transport de troupes et de personnel, d'équipements. On pouvait mettre des mortiers dessus ou simplement des mitrailleuses. So these vehicles, as the name implied, were used for just about everything in the Second World War. Troop and personnel transport, equipment transport. You could mount a mortar onto there. You could even mount a 2-pounder anti-tank gun. They could be used to tow artillery, but very often you would mount a Bren gun onto there, a little machine gun there. So here it's going to make a second pass, and I want you all to give a big round of applause to the vehicle and the driver.
And for the South Saskatchewan Regiment of the 6th Infantry Brigade in the 2nd Division. So anyone from the prairies here? Prairie people? Wow, that's all right. That's quite all right. We'll get them next time. So just another reminder for the folks standing by the barricade. This is the smallest of the vehicles that are going to come up. The other ones are going to kick up even more dust and rock. So please be aware of that if you're standing close to the barricade. Look for ceux qui tiennent proche de la
Les autres véhicules vont être encore plus grands, alors faites attention pour la poussière et les roches. Alright, so that's the Universal Carrier. We got a bunch of those inside the museum as well. But just a reminder, all of these vehicles on display are from our collection. This is a War Museum collection display. Alors, tous les véhicules ici viennent de la collection. Next up, we have another Second World War vehicle. This is the M9 half-track. This is the green one, number 4 in your booklet. Alors ça, c'est la M9 semi-chenillée, le numéro 4, véhicule vert. So half-tracks were used all over in the Second World War and in the Korean War. This one in particular is the M9A1. It's got a mount for a 50 caliber machine gun, the M2, the famous Modus. And it's also got a 30 caliber machine gun as well. Les semi-chenillés ont été utilisés tout au long de la Deuxième Guerre mondiale et la guerre de Corée. Celle-là, une mitrailleuse M2 à calibre 1,5 et un autre mitrailleuse d'un calibre de 0.36. So half-tracks are really coming around as a mix of maneuverability and all-terrain capabilities. By the time four-wheel drive gets a little bit more advanced later in the 20th century, half-tracks are going to fall out of favor. Alors les semi-chenillés, souvent utilisés pour mélanger un peu la manœuvrabilité avec traverser toutes sortes de terrains différents. Avec les avancements dans le 4x4, ça va un peu devenir moins commun. So that half-track is actually decorated with the insignia for an anti-tank regiment. So that would have been used, for example, to pull around 17-pounder anti-tank guns, 6-pounder anti-tank guns, all kinds of different anti-tank infrastructure and munitions. But they really could be used similar to the Universal Carrier for all sorts of different things: troop transport, equipment transport, munitions transport. They are armored, but they're not necessarily going to stop very high caliber shots. Alors, plusieurs différentes utilisations, mais celle-là en particulier est marquée avec un régiment anti-char. Alors, différentes munitions et armes anti-char auraient été tirées par ça. So they're going to come around and do a second pass. Once again, let's show our appreciation for the drivers, operators, and the staff maintaining these vehicles. Alors, de l'applaudissement pour le M9A1 et les opérateurs.
So seeing these vehicles up close in the collections is one thing. You get to kind of check them out and look at different details. But seeing them operate is really a different sort of thing. It's a very special time at the War Museum. And again, we only do this once a year. We got 2 more demos over the weekend, assuming we don't get rained out. And that'll be again at noon, at 10 o'clock, at noon, and at 2 p.m.
Alors, on a 2 autres présentations, demain et après-demain, samedi, dimanche, en assumant qu'il n'y a pas trop de pluie. On en a une à 10h, on en a une à midi et une à 2h chaque jour, on espère. So, up next, here comes one of those big vehicles. This is the M113 Command and Reconnaissance Lynx. So this is the yellow one, number 2 in the booklet. Alors, maintenant,
c'est bien la M113, le numéro 2, et sa tape jaune dans votre calibre. So the Lynx, much like an actual Lynx, is can go into the water.
It can also float and travel at about 6 kilometers an hour through the water. As the name implies, this would have been used for command and control, but also reconnaissance and scouting duties. Lynx, much like the M9, could be kitted out with a 50 caliber and 30 caliber machine gun. Those are what those mounts are for. Alors, comme le nom l'indique, le Lynx est utilisé pour le commandement, mais aussi pour la reconnaissance. Il y a toutes sortes d'applications là-dedans. Ça avait été utilisé dès les années 60 jusqu'à l'année moderne.
So very much a Cold War vehicle used from the 60s all the way into the 90s and 21st century. Let's give a big round of applause to the Lynx and the operators.
Now I hope you haven't had enough of the M113 because we actually have another variant coming up. The M113, basically a troop transport, but with a lot of modular attachments and different roles for those attachments. Alors, une autre variante de la M113 qu'on a aussi. La M113, c'est vraiment très adaptable et versatile. Alors, on la voit qui monte. This is the tow under armor M113. Alors, c'est la tow sous blindage. This is number 6 in your booklet, the purple, number 6 for that mode.
So the tow under armor is actually an offensive attachment you can see on top of the M113. Tow stands for tube launch, actively strapped to wire guide.
Le TOW, c'est un lance-missile. Et le sous-blindage, ça veut dire qu'on peut mettre les missiles là-dedans sans sortir du véhicule. So the under armor refers to being able to load missiles without getting out of the vehicle itself. This, again, Cold War into the late 20th and early 21st century vehicle. In particular, this would have been used by the Canadians in Bosnia and Herzegovina. So you can see the SFOR, that's Stabilization Force. Utilisé en Bosnie, entre autres. Let's give them their big hand to the driver and the vehicle.
So again, all of these vehicles are from the War Museum collection, but some of them you'll get to see just a little bit closer to them.
Don't forget, we also have the static displays over to my right, your left. We've got an M113 engineering vehicle and an M151, a so-called MUT, a little Jeep. And we've got some volunteer veterans who are here today who would be happy to talk more to you about some of these things. Alors, on a aussi des bénévoles, des vétérans, qui peuvent vous parler de ces véhicules et des véhicules en dehors de cette station. Now, was anyone hoping to see a tank today, by any chance? Yeah? Alors, on a un char d'assaut qui monte. C'est la Léopard C2. This is the Leopard C2. This is the blue number 1 vehicle in your booklet.
Alors, la Léopard C2, un char d'assaut conçu en Allemagne Tout va bien, tout va bien. Un char d'assaut conçu en Allemagne durant la guerre froide, mais utilisé encore une fois à la fin du 20e, début du 21e siècle en Afghanistan. So the Leopard P2, this is a Canadian designation, an upgraded version of the Leopard 1, used from the Cold War, but in particular in missions in Afghanistan.
Once again, it's a really different experience than seeing these in a static display downstairs in the Breton Gallery compared to actually seeing them go. They really do kick up a fair bit of dust and rocks, so, take care of your eyes and your mucous membranes and all that. We're going to see it come around for a second pass as it rotates around. And here it comes. So as they pass by, I would love for you guys to make some noise for the Leopard tank and its driver and operator.
Whoa, Nelligan. So tanks will sometimes put out little smoke grenades to help disguise their movements, but if it's a sufficiently sandy path, they can disguise themselves just fine on their own.
On n'installe pas des GoPros sur la tourelle des tanks, but that's just a little special one for today. So just before the demonstration comes to an end, all 5 of the vehicles that were driven are going to make their way back up the track, and like I said, they're just going to park right in front of the barricades over here. So give them a little bit of time and space to do that, and once they're done, you'll be able to talk to the people who are driving them. These are the same people who are maintaining these things, who know a lot about the technical details, some of the lesser known facts about these vehicles. Alors, les véhicules, les 5 véhicules qui viennent juste d'être construits vont maintenant se parquer juste en avant des barricades. Donnez-leur un petit moment pour faire ça. Et après qu'ils prennent les moteurs, vous allez pouvoir vous avancer et parler à l'équipe, non seulement les conducteurs, mais aussi les conservateurs qui ont fait toute cette job-là pour pouvoir leur maintenir et qu'on les voit en action. Just attendre la Léopard, we're just going to wait for the Leopard to go past. He's doing a real wide turn there, wow. Alright, so folks, I just want to thank you so much for being part of these War Machines demo. Je veux vraiment vous remercier. Let's have a big hand for all the drivers, all the staff, and everybody who helped make this possible, and for yourselves as well. Merci beaucoup à tout le monde. On a d'autres démonstrations demain et après-demain. But for now, feel free to explore the museum, explore the static displays, and of course, chat with the drivers and staff over here. Alors, soyez libres d'explorer le musée, les autres véhicules et aussi le staff et l'équipe ici. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.